Oh, hello. Thank you for joining me today as we venture into new waters. Today we're doing Awake My Soul by Mumford & Sons for Mr. Sam McKelvey, supporter of the cause. Sam, thank you so much for A, steering our ship in this direction, and B, the food. Alright, Sparky, so I watched several videos of Donnie Mumford and his male offspring playing this song, and I saw it happen in two different tunings. The first tuning was a weird open C tuning with a capo on the 2nd fret to get to an open D tuning, but it didn't have the same voicing as regular open D tuning, and the result was Donnie had to do really weird stuff with his fingers to make the same thing happen as if he was in open D, which he was in someone's backyard video of those people playing this song. So I'm going to guess that you're probably going to appreciate the open D way of doing it. It's easier. I think it sounds better. It's more rewarding, and you use way fewer fingers. I'd say 1/4 the amount of total fingers for the whole thing. So you got to put your guitar into open D. E string's going down to D. That's 2 half steps. A string is staying the same. D string is staying the same. So Dad. And then G goes down 1 half step to F sharp. B goes down 2 half steps to A. And E goes down 2 half steps to D. And what you're left with is a grand, magnificent, big open D chord. I believe I've made a video on how to put your guitar into open D. If you don't know how to get there, assuming it exists, I will put the link to that video in the description. And now we finally get to play the song. Okay, so we're in open D. Take one finger, preferably your finger, and put it on the A string. We're going to call the strings what they used to be called so we don't go crazy. 5th fret, and that's it. So pluck that note, and then pluck the E string, the baby E string, and that's it for the verse. And the cool thing about the open D tuning is it doesn't matter if you pluck wrong strings because they're all right. So you can kind of sloppy, sort of strum pluck it, and the guitar continues like this. When he sings, the bass note doesn't change, but the bass note changes to A, so it's like do 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 do. So you can either leave it as this D note on the A string 5th fret or change it. Do do do. For the har-har part, believe it or not, the guitar still continues to do just this. But the bass moves underneath it, and the bass implies chords. So if you want to follow the bass, you'd go open 2 on the A string, open 5, open 2, open 5. And when he plays that 2, that implies a B minor chord because we're in the key of D, and the B chord in the key of D is a B minor. And if you want to make this sound just a little bit more like a B minor chord, you can grab the B string 2nd fret there, and you get. I saw one live video where he went 4-2. 5, 4-2, open 5, and that works because this is a C sharp note. The chord implied there is a bounce back and forth between D, A, and B minor, so that's why the open 2 is an A, right? But you can play the C sharp from the A. You pick open 2 with or without that open 5, or 4-2. 5. The Awake My Soul part is where things get interesting because it sounds like it does the same thing we were just doing. Because you hear that B, but that B is now the B out of a G chord, or the major third out of a G chord, which you can do in our open D tuning. Grab A2 and G1, just like you're making an E7 chord in standard tuning, but of course we're not, because we're not. And then the B string 2nd fret as well, and that's a nice G chord for you. So coming out of the D, A, G now, back and forth just the same way. A, G. Little tip on that G chord, it's a really unfamiliar shape for me. I can get to the E7, you know, shape part of it quickly, but that B string is weird for me, so I'm not going to worry about getting that B string right away. And you have time, because you go A string, and then you have time to get there if you just pluck selectively and don't expose that B string. But even if you do, you can add it later, because that's a nice chord. That's a G suspended 2, and then back to regular G. The next verse picks it up in intensity a little bit in that a strummy guitar gets introduced into the mix, and you can keep doing what you were doing. Or you can make it more strummy with a real A chord, which in our open D tuning is just going to be all the way across all the strings on the 7th fret. So there's not even any real reason to leave your finger there on that A string 5th fret if you don't want to. I like it because it keeps the same voicing. Or if you want to be really fancy, you can make that A a harmonic on the 7th fret across all the strings. Make it a lackadaisical harmonic. Or an all-at-once harmonic. You can make the D a harmonic too on the 12th fret with open strings in between. I like that the best. When we get to the bridge, we have an interesting conundrum. The chord progression is G. In these bodies we will live D, B minor. We will D, but we definitely hear the low G note in the first chord, and that further differentiates the G from the B minor, because I don't know if you've noticed, but they're only one note apart. This one's our G, that's our B minor, G, B minor. So it's kind of ambiguous when they're right next to each other. So if you want to play G, like all the way across on the 5th fret, G in our open D tuning, that's great. If you want to play it this way, that's great too. So G, D, B minor, D or G, D, B minor, D. But at the end we definitely hear, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do 5, 5, open 5, because we hear those notes in the voicing, and it seems to me like on the record he played it in that crazy C tuning, and this might be the only spot where this is harder to get the particular thing done, but this is great too. It's like half a note off. Anyways, we go. Just kind of pluck away on that before you grab the 4th fret of the E string for that G major 7 chord you hear at the end of it, before you hear the harmonic on the 5th fret. And then it bends itself up and we're into the next part. So G, D, B minor, D or G, D, B minor, D before. 5, 5, open 5, leaving that pointer finger for baby E4 at the end there. And then we have a total feel change. So we're going to switch to the strumming pattern down, down, up, really, really fast on our D chord as things build up. Down, down, up, down, up. And just like the har part, it's going to bounce back and forth between A, B minor, A, D. Just on a different rhythm, right? that's going to be the 5th fret of the E string and the 5th fret of the G string. Move it down to E4, G3, E2, G1, open. 5s, 4-3, 2-1, opens. Up to A the last time, just 7-7 on E, G, and then into our big, lovely open D, or whichever D you want. Or if you want to be super triumphant, you can make that D 12-12 up there, so you get. And then we have another chorus, another Awake My Soul part, but it's the new strumming pattern, but the same chords. So you'll be going away on your D, or your D that you just did, and it's A, G, A, D, A, G, A, D, and the last time, just like the previous part, A, G, to A, B, and then the walk. But that A, B, that's a false resolution. Our key is D, B minor is the relative minor of the key, and that's a neat way to kind of almost pretty much sound like you just resolved there, right? Awake. Because you sing the same thing, my soul, but this time it's awake, my soul. Sang the same thing, but now it doesn't sound stable, like it wants to stay there, and that let them do the walk again. So, super cool. Whew, but yeah, that's it. Those are all the pieces. More on that false resolution thing. I meant to make a bigger deal of it in the All Night Thing, Chris Cornell video for people who watch this channel regularly. Go back and try All Night Thing and notice how he uses the relative minor at the end but sings the same thing so it doesn't sound like it's done yet. Super useful trick. Sam, thank you so much for the great request. Everybody else, thank you so much for being here. I hope that was fun and helpful, and I will see you next time with more stuff. Goodbye.